They commit the coil and don't follow up.
Seems like they just realized they didn't have the damage output.
Power has fallen.
I mean, they didn't though, with the task in the park.
Radiant's
Not sure what they're
tower
really
is under
expecting.
attack.
Meanwhile, while that's been happening, Pasha has his Veil up now on the Phoenix, so his damage output has just gone through the roof. He's also got some max spirits as well as the Icarus time.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah, and he's just about to hit 10 and just a level off. And once he hits that town, either the Spell Amp or the Gold, he's gonna escalate.
Yeah. No team fight's going to be very easy for LGD at this rate, that's for sure. I mean, you still have FY Snowball to dodge a lot of that magic damage from the Supernova, that's for sure, but you don't really want to have to rely on that.
Scanning. How does that even work?
It's LGD, they smoke up now towards that Dire Jungle, but Na'Vi have also smoked up and run the opposite way. Zayak though, smoke broken, he realizes where they are, but he's going to go upward as well. He goes to the Doom straight on the puck, and now the rotations again. Na'Vi bringing in Crystallize, who's going to chase down this puck as their main source of a target, really. Although nice lasso is there from Chalice, now FY. Maybe giving his life away for this, but it's well worth it if they save the puck. X-Nova meanwhile going down to Magical, now nice snowball from FY. Just drags it out. He tries to get the Roshan denial. He will not be successful in doing so. At the very least, he does allow Somnus to get out.
It's one saving grace for LGD. At the same time, all those kills are going to the cores. So Magical and Crystallize, they're going to escalate even faster than they did in Game 1. We're not even seeing LGD take the map advantage just yet. I guess they're waiting for Ame to be ready to take these fights. Long time for a Terrorblade to be ready to face up against the magic damage Na'Vi has.
Na'Vi, 7k net worth lead at 13 minutes in. Everything they could ask for. Magical, gonna have that Deso up very, very soon. Just needs that secondary Mithril Hammer, and it's only about 400 or 500 gold away. A few Ancients to take care of that. Meanwhile, you look at Somnus, he's trying to go for a Maelstrom on this puck. Doesn't really have anything else apart from a couple Null Talismans and Treads. They're gonna go for another gank. Smoke straight away through the Dire Jungle. Chalice is already looking for a target on the Batrider. They may be able to find Zayak again. Although maybe not, maybe they'll just find Ilias instead. This is Disruptor, a very easy kill for LGD. Probably not really what they wanted, but they'll have to take it. They might find Zayak. Can they find the lasso? There's no mana available right now on Chalice to actually get the lasso off. So Zayak still probably going to die, but no, never mind. Parcher's in here now. Supernova has been popped. Where's the follow-up damage? Crystallize, he'll show up as well. Chalice, he has TP'd out of there. And now FY will be chased down with Taz. TP away. Does he actually get out? Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Oh, a bit of a messy counterfight from Navi this time around, which does kind of make it worthwhile for LGD. They're not going to have to worry about that Supernova for a while. Gives them some space to breed. And of course, again, successfully buying space for Ame here. Hopefully that investment will pay off. Still, a lot of climbing to do. He's pretty much dead even with Crystallize in terms of gold at the very least. So they've got that going for them on LGD. They just need more time. And if they keep forcing out strange fights from Navi like that, they might find that time.
Crystallize gonna run into Ame. Ame will just turn around and want to fight, but he may not after he sees the supports of Navi right behind Crystallize. Can they get that Static Storm off? F-Clip's available, they will get it, and yeah, Ame, he could be screwed here. He doesn't really have much help around. It's only X-Nova, and he does go down.
My thrift
Interesting
reward.
positioning coming out. I mean, LGD, they just seem a little overly confident. X-Nova now. Glimpse wasn't available, so Ilias couldn't really cancel the TP off. But they are going to find the tier 1 tower as well as the position 1. So I don't really think that Navi's going to mind too much.
Definitely not. They found the big kill they wanted. Everything else afterwards would have just been, you know, just a bit more of a bonus. They're happy with that trade. That's the one here they really need to keep in check, and they just happen to catch Ame out. Ame's got to be very cautious. His team is buying him this space. He can't afford to throw it away.
Now X-Nova may get caught out as, yeah, they found him. Their build will be there. He has the shrine and he has help behind as well. As there is going to be a lasso straight onto the Disruptor, but the glimpse is there. Now Ame going to move in, but they got the TP out.
No.
Ilias just getting everything perfectly in time just to get out of there safely.
Yeah, just that glimpse back right on time after Lasso came in. You can't initiate like that when they have pretty decent vision there. And it just costs them. That was the blink reveal as well for Chalice, I believe. Oh.
Ame? He doesn't really die to does he? No, he will Sun them. That's a lot of damage
Pasha.
though.
Oh, I love that. Just the ballsiest play. Just going for it straight up, Pasha. If he had the spell amp, that might have been enough tick damage. I don't know. Maybe.
Had the Thunder not come out, Ame definitely would have just been dead.
Oh, for sure.
LGD posturing around the Roshan pit. They're not really in a position to try and go for the Roshan as of yet. They definitely don't have the damage output. Again, we kind of find ourselves in the middle of the game where LGD just doesn't seem like they have a game plan right now.
You'd reckon that with the lineup they have, with a Tusk, with a Chen, with a Batrider, they'd be playing much more aggressive early on. But they've really just been responding to Navi's aggressiveness. And every time they go for these fights, it's under a tier 1. Navi's not afraid to TP in 2 heroes to save their heroes, save their mid-core. And they try again, they do smoke up. They're gonna find a disruptor for their trouble.
Ilias. Last time they chased this man, he got away. Pasha will show himself, but doesn't have the supernova available, but they don't care. Zayak starts moving in as well. Snowball will be there. They go straight onto that Phoenix and try to take him out, though Pasha's still alive throughout all this, but it looks like they will find him in the end. Zayak, Ilias still trying to outrun Chalice on that Batrider. It looks like that will be the end of that. LGD, they do find a nice little Phoenix pick off. The magical. Does he dive in onto Somnus? Yeah, he does. Dawn Strike is there, and that's a lot of damage. Not quite enough though, as the Dream Call now coming out. Lasso will be there on Ilias, but he got the boots off once again. Still FY does get a very nice chance off to secure the kill. So LGD do find 2 for their trouble. It's certainly a nice couple pickoffs to give them a bit of gold their way.
Definitely. The biggest one was, of course, Pasha being taken out there. A big target for Na'Vi to lose. Still going to be coming back in perfectly fine. He's just about 600 gold away from his Shiva's Guard. So once he has that up and running, it's going to be that much harder for LGD to disengage from these fights.
Just wonder where Na'Vi's finding all this farm from. Doom is going to get straight on the TV. Now the Supernova, but there's FY. Again with an amazing snowball, but is it going to be enough? It'll allow Ame to run out of there, but he does go down to the end to crystallize. Now X-Nova, he's gone as well. There's the Static Storm on the puck, ensuring he can't do anything throughout this team fight. And Zayak is going to continue that chase. Somnus will be able to warp away, but they've lost FY on the Tusk and Crystal as well. They got the crit off.
That crit from Zayak. Blinks in, gets a right-click crit to kill off the puck. And that's just a very, very good team fight coming out from Na'Vi. Not quite working away with LGD. I did like the aggression there. They knew the Roshan was going to go down. They couldn't afford to lose it. They just jumped in the wrong targets. Na'Vi is the ones waiting outside. Pasha can't fight quite well.
Chalice finds Pasha. I suppose for Chalice, just finding any kill like the Phoenix is nice anyway, so he gives his life away for that. Pasha doesn't really seem very concerned about it. And Magical apparently finds X-Nova. Na'Vi, they just look like a completely different team in this new patch. I mean, they're one of those teams where it looks like they've just figured it all out very early on.
Does feel that way. I mean, they've got control of this game. 10-21, 13k net worth lead now. They're just playing all their cards right. Their timings are on point. They're taking these fights at the right time. They respond well. And LGD, they've got to find a grip here. They've got to find a way back in. They need to leverage this great initiations they have with the Batrider and the Tusk. They need to make stuff happen with these heroes.
Somnus is trying his best on the park. I mean, but look at that net worth, John. 6k on the mid park. He's 4k behind the TA right now, and he's being that Maelstrom at least, like he's getting there, but he just hasn't given any space, it feels like. And now Zayak's approaching him, and yeah, he actually blinks straight into him. Somnus hidden in the tree line, Orb will be there, but Magical is making his way in as well. They're just going to dive the tier 2 tower. Somnus still trying to outrun them, and now Chalice goes for a lasso straight on that Disruptor. F1 jumps in with the snowball as well, just trying to stop that Static Storm, but there's a Supernova coming out from Pasha. Can they take the egg down in time? It looks like they will be able to. Now the Dream Core coming out onto Zayak. They may find the Doom here, and it looks like they will. And LGD suddenly finding quite a few kills. It's still a 2-for-3 trade the way of LGD, but if they can find Magical, it'd be absolutely amazing for this Radiant side. As Magical's still trying to outrun them. Does have the Blip Dagger available. He'll just turn around to FY now.
Oh my god.
And FY, yeah, he's just dead. Arme?
Somnus?
Arme? Magical's thinking about jumping in. He's got an Aegis available. Somnus is barely avoided. Sunder now coming up from Arme preemptively. He just pops the refraction and he is dead. They got the Aegis on the TA. Shadow's going to be chased down by Crystallize. Nice glimpse back from Ilias, and they're going to find another. What was that Sunder jump?
I'm not sure. It wasn't enough to keep him alive, that's for sure. And that's, it's just so messy right now for LGD. They prolonged that chase so long that Navi's heroes are all back up. They're postured around this tier 2. They're going to be able to take this tier 2 fairly quick as well. And Ami, even when he responds, he won't have Meta.
And the 60k network, they jumped in again. Shiver's guard there. FY trying to snowball away. Somnus falling so darn low right now. He'll orb away, but FY's gone on the task. And they're going after a T3 tower now. Just no fear from this Na'Vi side. There's nothing to be afraid about, apparently. They do finally back off, but no. X-Nova's gone now on the chin. The immediate buyback from FY, getting set up for this defense. But Magical is just jumping in and out, playing whack-a-mole with LGD right now. And it just seems like there's nothing they can do about it.
Magical that hasn't even expended his BKB yet, so he has a full 10-second charge for the next engagement.
Well, that sounds like good news for LGD.
Oh man. Oh, LGD, they can't afford to take these 5v5s. They just can't. They really, really need to find a pick off somewhere. They need to get some wards out on the map, because Navi's got complete control right now in terms of vision.
You can see X-Nova trying to get those wards out. You look over to Arme, I mean, his farm just dropped off so hard. Still at 9.2k net worth, just nothing been going right on the side of LGD this game. As Pasha's going for an Aghanim Scepter up next on the Phoenix. So forget the snowball saves, John. You've got a Phoenix X save coming out from Pasha. Of course, it does refresh all abilities, so makes things more painful. As they do smoke up and LGD, are they expecting this? Why they jump in once again, the Phoenix with the Shivers Guard. Snowball to start the FY. We do hear the Doom in the back lines, but it looks like it is on the TV. Still though, Zion has to go down, but Crystallize is on top of Arme, and he's just got up. FY trying to run away. Ilias, you have a glimpse of Ella, but he just needs the vision. Meanwhile, Magical ends up finding X-Nova on the Chen once again, and they still seem to know where FY is, but they're just not in range any longer, or perhaps they will be in a sec, as Ilias is so darn close. But it's all too late.
Oh my god. Yes.
Moves back. He found Chalice. Kinetic Field Static Storm is there, as well as the Sun Ray. And, well, Supernova, why not? Why the hell not, John?
No reason not to. And LGD, they're forced to try to defend when Ame's up without Meta.
Oh my.
Radiant's top
Navi
tower is
back off to
falling.
safety. At least for a little bit. They have a Mind Breaker now as well, which just makes matters worse, especially for Somnus on this puck. Even Army on the TV is not really going to enjoy that.
Illusion.
Looks like Arme's just going to prioritize trying to get that BKB up on this TB. But even then, you've still got to be worried about this this TA. Magical. Going to be going for what looks like an Orchid up next. Perhaps might even just ignore that and go for the Butterfly if he really feels like it. But there just seems to be too much value in having that silence this game. The 22k net worth advantage. They understand there's no real rush. Currently, win probability 99% the way of Na'Vi. So LGD being given 1% chance to win this game apparently,
Radiant's
according to Dota
bottom
Plus.
tower is under attack.
Have we actually seen that swing away? Ever?
I want to say yes,
I think that's
but I'm not
once.
100% sure.
Yeah, I think it's once, and that was a really long match.
Radiant's bottom tower needs a hand.
Looks like Na'Vi will go ahead and take the bot tier 2 tower. Perhaps looking to find a trade up at that top lane, maybe find the top T2 themselves. But they've got to be very careful about their positioning as against Somnus. Let's get scouted, they have the glimpse available, but they won't commit.
Dire's top
Meanwhile,
tower is under attack.
Parsha does have the Ags up now,
Dire's structures are fortified.
but things just got a whole lot sillier for Na'Vi. Well, Orchid, it's going to be there on the puck. Magical will show off that new item he just picked up. Meanwhile, mid, FY, force the snowball. Parsha actually gets the snowball on top of him, and now FY. Unfortunately for him, gonna end up losing his life. There'll be no help coming. And well, Zayak, he sees X-Nova, will go straight after the Chen. He's just walking in under the T3 tower. He doesn't even care. X-Nova does end up going down.
Radiant's top tower.
And with that, an easy T3 tower to be taken.
Good move, if you ask me.
They do have Meta up on Ame, so that should keep Na'Vi just a bit more hesitant to take this fight. They're just walking from them.
Radiant's middle tower is
I mean, you've got this Phoenix that does all this magic damage. I don't know if Ame can really afford to fight this, although nice lasso onto Magical. They take down this TA, could be massive, but no, there's the save. He gets the egg off with the TA inside. Parsha will bring Magical back out like magic with full HP and full mana. And that is going to be one of the most disgusting things I've seen from Na'Vi, John. It's just so demoralizing for LGD to lose like this. Yules will come out, Somnus will be able to orb away surely. But how do you defend your base any longer?
I don't think you can. Like, you're not gonna have Meta up on the TV. You don't have Lasso for a bit. It's gonna be a very, very hard game to turn around at this point, or at least to defend your last set of racks.
Gotta give it to LGD. They hate giving up early. They do tend to drag games out as long as they possibly can. It's just such a hard ask of them.
Radiant's top shrine
Especially
is
with a
under
hero
attack.
like Terrorblade, because now you've got the Metamorphosis down for a minute and a half. So you probably can't go for this Roshan fight that's about to happen from Na'Vi.
That's what it gets me.
And even if they wanted to, I mean, they're still 33k net worth behind, so there's just absolutely no chance of pulling that victory off in the Roshan if they want to try it.
Find those sneaky bums.
It is also now at 100% by the way, for Na'Vi.
There it is. One of the few moments we get that 100% chance, besides the bugs that we saw in the qualifiers at one
Those
point.
weren't bugs, John. Those weren't bugs. Dota Plus is that good, John, that it will predict before the game even starts. I pay for the service, I know these things. You should pay for it too, John. Everyone should pay for Dota Plus.
Everyone should. LGD. They're just trying to play on the opposite side of the map. They're gonna have to TP back to defend their high ground. There's no way they're gonna let this just go for free. Not be smoked up. You've got to try to find that backline. You have ways of reaching that backline with Chalice. You just have to make it work. The issue is Disruptor Ilias is always there with Glimpse out.
Got the egg back up, by the way. At least Arme will have meta up in 10 seconds. He's TPing back to the base now, but it looks pretty bad for LGD already as the Sansa is down the barrel. A nice chance for FY. Straight off the magical, or at least find his ages. But now they'll lose Batrider. Straight off the bat, no buyback available to him. The egg, of course, being committed by Fire. Magical jumps back in to find another straight off the bat. Arme, he gets doomed up. He can't really do anything to help out any longer. He almost ticks out before getting back to that bounce. Looks like they lose FY on the task, and Somnish trying to help out the best he can. Will survive, but they are going to lose their megas. In fact, by the way, John, I said the Aegis was lost. It was not. There was another egg save coming out. That will be the GG will play being called by LGD, and that will be some for sure, John. A 2-0 victory against LGD of all teams. Pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, just dominant performance from Na'Vi. Crystallize going 9-0 and Magical going 12-0.
One more attack would do it if you could just find a nice sideboard target as Fortification keeps the creep wave alive, looking for the deny hit with the side blade.
He hit him once, but it wasn't quite enough to finish him off.
And Tim's is hoping for a long-range finisher.
You gotta respect it. You miss every figure you don't throw. I believe that's the same.
That's, I'm thinking that was the hook and that was the Dendy kind of line, but he then stole it from somebody else beforehand.
And it's all, you know, all comes full circle. He steals it, I steal it.
We all know eventually every idea that's been said during a cast was really Fox theory crafting.
Exactly. You won't let you forget that either.
No. Stolen content. Free content.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
This is probably the most passive start to like any of the games we've had so far. We're hitting the 5-minute mark, so welcome to the bounty rune fights. There actually will be no fights for these bounty runes.
Kind of makes sense, right? Who
Zero
kills
kills
who?
on the map.
Like we were kind of imagining how do people kill in this game. And
ES can't rotate until Doom has 6.
yeah. That's when the game's gonna turn up. He does just hit level 5. And the thing is, since he's solo top, he is out leveling them. He's almost a full level ahead of the puck.
Well, Tim's going to try and make a play for mid. He's coming up the back of the SF, so one fishy to throw, but he then realizes he's level 2 and has no points up in Aftershock, so there's not much of a reason to throw the totem.
He is applying a lot of pressure, though, just by being here. The TA traps is like another way that they can initiate kills, so that's why he's playing around the TA at level 6 now. Earthshaker has a lot of options when these heroes start hitting their timings, but as of right now, you can tell the SF was aware that's possible, and now he's running bottom, and now like SCC's playing pretty passively. He's not even walking up for the creep. They're fully aware that this Earthshaker's here, and even though he's not getting kills, he is having impact on what's happening in these lanes.
Yeah, but they can't just let him sit at level 2 like 6 minutes into this game forever. Like, he has to have some level of progression. As TP hits the bottom lane, so Fade's going to arrive as the Phoenix, making a Triverse a try lane, and they're going to toss in Gabby. Nowhere he wanted to be. Mark will try and keep him alive, and well, that is still an IO. Gives a lot of regeneration. Still got some 5-6 chances up his sleeve too. And they stay tethered together.
I work this issue. Absolutely degraded.
So all of that still ends up counting for North because regeneration wins out. I think the only thing that has died so far was that courier, which was Doom's courier.
The classic sentry battle with TA in the mid lane, making sure he gets the traps, D-Warrior de-trapped. Doom does have 6. Puck almost has 6.
They don't need a rotation towards top lane to make that Doom, like, really find any kill.
Yeah, neither hero really solos the other, right? They need a +1 to help them.
These are great observer wards from both sides. So the dire observer ward sees that Baboka as well as Fade were moving towards the mid lane. So TA's just backed up. There was already some stacks being prepared by Tims. In fact, the stacks actually looked a little bit bugged. I don't know if this is meant to happen, but like one of the ancient granite golems is not quite where he's meant to be.
Go home, little man, or big man.
Doesn't actually look like the spawn point is just like 1 inch too far to the south.
Yeah, he looks like he's... What happened? Like, he feels lonely. That's what he looks like. Oh, top lane, they do come up. That's the +1 we talked about. The coil onto the Doom makes it so he can't run away, and then the damage from the SF. That is exactly what we were saying. They do utilize that +6 right when he got it. We were too busy focusing on the lonely little golem out of plays there.
It's just like, I
Okay,
know.
he's still willing to let the camp get stacked, so he's lonely, but he's not opposed to letting more people come into his life.
You know,
That's good.
this is overpopulation right now. There are not enough homes.
So he goes right back.
Yeah, he's
chilling.
he's right back to the outside area.
Top tower's about to be radiant.
It's like, I don't want to go in there. It's too smelly. There's too crammed in here. Everyone's in one room while I can sleep under the stars.
He called shotgun, you know, there's like 10 people in the back seat, and he's got the front seat all to himself. But yeah, that is only a level 3 Earthshaker at 8.5. It looks like
Yeah.
the TA is retreating in jungle, which is probably necessary.
Yeah, and they can give Tims the mid lane. So this is the catch-up mechanic. TA's already had a really good start. She's by far the #1 net worth at 4.4 K to the SS 3.5 K. So TA is already pretty happy with this.
You do
Dire's
pick the
bottom
TA to
tower's
do
getting
just
pushed
this, so this is expected. I'm just emphasizing that it's all about momentum this game for TNC, and as long as they maintain it, I like their lineup a lot because they have the ability to pick fights when they want, but the minute they lose it, this game's gonna be rough.
What was that from Chuan? That's just brutal. He made the mango tree and then killed it instantly with the iron tower.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he put the mango tree down right next to Roshan and then he killed it with the iron talent.
Why?
Good question. I don't know. Doom on
Is
top
that
lane.
flexing
XSS
dominance?
on the run, but Chuan, as well as Fade already here, and KP really not wanting any part of this. Even Baboka, 4 heroes from Aster have arrived on the top lane to protect this puck. The Doom won't kill him. He'll be fine.
I think that's a huge deal to do against Doom. To make it so his first Doom is just wasted like that. I've been in my pubs where I'm like, guys, he's gonna Doom me, please help me. And then, you know, you get doomed and die, and you're like, well, Doom's now 2 levels ahead of me in this 1v1.
But is it worth it when you commit 4 heroes to the top lane?
I think you have to commit as many as you think you do. Maybe they overcommitted it, like maybe they only needed 3. So I think you need to shut it down.
Because now Gabby and March have bottom lane. They're pushing the tier 1 tower. Once March is level 6 as well, like that's gonna get a little stronger.
That's just the natural power of Doom, though, right? Is he's such a high threat once he has that ultimate.
They're going for him. Dream call up. They have to battle through that ice armor. Chuan coming underneath the tier 1 tower too. Support is nearby from Tim, but he's too busy actually taking the outpost. KP cannot be kept alive. The Raiders all are able to connect with the fissure. Blocking underneath the tower. Baboka's kind of trapped in the tree line. No, he's not. There's a gap free there.
He's only level 4 on Shaker, so didn't have that opportunity to walk in the middle and slam him.
It's like bounties.
That is a huge kill on Doom, because not only did he die with Doom now, but he also TP top and then died again, so he doesn't have a TP when he respawns. The catapults are coming out. Maybe they can look to apply some pressure. They're getting some nice recovery farm on the Phoenix bottom lane. He's actually pretty farmed. He has Earn plus Tranquils.
Well, they're going again, this time over towards Io, able to tether himself away towards Tims, who will now play their combination of distraction. But I'm all for this. Like, yeah, Doom is having a horrendous game, but you just have to look at Armel. Like, he's just taking this full ancient stack as the Templar Assassin, now 5.6k, and he even gets the extra stack, working towards that Desolator. Manages to find himself both the Ocean Heart as well as a trusty shovel.
And the poor man shield. He's hogging all the items. He's 8 slotted at 11 minutes in the game.
Please share, Armel. Like, let's not play too greedy. There are other heroes on this map that give the shovel at least to Io or something.
I will say, I just emphasize my view on this game is that as long as TNC is allowed to pick the fights they like these kind of skirmishy fights, they're in control. But the minute Aster's allowed to just kind of 4-man, 5-man around the map effectively, then it's going to be tough for TNC to ever fight them. So with that being said, as long as Armel and Gabby keep this like snowball effect going and they're able to farm wherever they want. I like the Mask of Madness on Razor. It's really good synergy with your new static link, because your new static link gets
that jump in. Armel so quick with the blink dagger, but he couldn't do enough damage. Fate comes back in, he puts down the egg, and Temple Assassin needs more hits, but Phoenix will claim the double kill.
And he's got boots of travel on Puck, so that allows them to kind of be able to group up even though they're still farming efficiently on the map, which I think is really important for their lineup. It's a really good itemization there. I think them committing 3 or 4 heroes to everything is super important. Outnumbering TNC's lineup is the key here, because they have these kind of anti-carries with the Razor and the Doom. So if you only bring 2 or 3 heroes, suddenly you only have 1 or 2. But if you bring 4, you're just going to run over their single target spells. And meanwhile, SCCC is just farming with that Mask of Madness. He's pretty farmed right now. Yeah, he's only 5th on the net worth, but he will recover quite quickly compared to a Razor if they're both just AFK farming.
Cleaning up the items, so if he wants to save his money, just get items from the jungle instead.
Looks like they're trying to make a move on top.
Could be tricky.
Yeah, he might be a little too tanky.
That's still 13 armor you got to get through. The ice armor is about to wear off. Courier, potentially sniped. It does deliver the ring, so the Hood of Defiance is completed on KP, but that's the only upside from this. The bottom tier 1 tower still being trying to force by TNC. They lost theirs, but Armel has to blink away to safety. This early blink, he's really hoping he can get some pickoffs with this to make it worthwhile. But right now, Templar Assassin, yeah, you're 14 minutes into the game, and the only thing on your KDA is a death.
Yeah, it's just really hard for TNC. I'm telling you, it's really hard for TNC to ever just walk into them. Like Aster's counterplay team fight potential is you're never killing this egg. They have Coil, they have Avalanche, they have SF ult. Until you get BKB, you're not killing that egg. And the minute that you're not able to kill Phoenix Egg, that hero is just so hard to fight into.
Armel.
Once again, bottom. Oh, please.
Yeah, Refract's just going to protect him at least from putting his Blink Dagger on cooldown.
He's got to be so careful, though, because this Puck has bots, and I think he only did that because he knew Puck was low on mana.
ES is coming in. Invis rune to prepare, look for the detection, look for the sentries, but right now it all belongs to TNC. Razor is living life on the edge just so he's able to farm up these Ancients. Also going the Mask of Madness style build. I like how Dirt of Hospice was at 50-50. Keep the game nice and close.
I like to think every game's 50-50, Toby. Either Dire or Radiant wins.
And look, once again, 4 heroes together towards mid lane. You've got Tims walking up behind SCCC, but there's no one else here to really help out. And he was just in range, I think, for a second of that Sentry Ward. But they're all here for the 15-minute bounty runes. 4 heroes to top. Hey, KP, you get a welcoming party coming your way.
You can see he's playing scared. He knows something's happening top. And he does have the lane ward now. It's going to expire very soon. Will it catch the Phoenix? It's pretty important because he knows they're trying to make a move top if he sees the Phoenix. He does.
Oh, of course it's SF against the Vampire Fangs.
Very sick item on hard right clickers that also have spells.
Bottom lane. They're already starting up. 3 heroes behind the tower. Jump in. Dream Call's perfect. Combining with the Nova. And Io stunned up. And damage and perfect execution from Aster. Means that XSS once again finds up with a double kill. 5 of the 7 kills of Aster on that Puck.
Really good setup by Phoenix. I'm sure he was making that call because he was the one that initiated that whole thing. He was there ahead of time, knowing that he has the Puck follow-up. The fact that Puck has Boots of Travel means that they can TP in multiple heroes in that 3-second window to follow him up.
It keeps being the same thing too, like they're TPing in perfect fog of war where TNC do not see this coming. And TNC have no counter initiation. They're trying to get the Blink Dagger onto Tim so they do have their own jump.
But the problem, right, is your main playmaker is your 4 position, so you just have this 5 to 10 minute window where what do? You just have 0 kills, and that shows with their lineup. Very 3 farm-heavy cores with no catch other than your 4 position.
Yeah.
A little bit of an awkward draft.
Like your TA is kind of the playmaker only if she's got a large amount of damage, but the Blink Dagger only gives her better positioning.
Yeah, exactly.
But who do you jump on? Like you're
not killing Tiny.
You're not killing her. There's no easy support like Crystal Maiden where you can just pick her.
So Puck has a Blink Dagger, okay.
Desolator is coming for the TA. So finally that damage output's going to start to increase.
The fact that Phoenix can play so survivably in the bottom lane is a pretty big deal too. It just relieves a lot of pressure down here from the TNC split push, and it also gives him a lot of farm. He's working on a Midas. Haven't seen that item very much this patch, but Phoenix probably one of the few heroes in the game that can still afford to build one because your kit just does so much innately that you just want to scale.
Do you like this, like the pupil's gift?
As an item like,
Yeah.
in the game, I think it's one of the strongest tier 2 items. I think overall, this tournament, for whatever reason, I've been seeing it a lot on strength heroes. I kind of thought that was like the worst hero to get it because you just want the 13 strength on enter agility heroes.
Well, you got it on an Agi hero now.
Yeah, overall, I think it's super value on these heroes like SF that just lack that little bit of extra health sometimes to get their extra abilities off. And now he's sitting at 1700 health. And once he gets that BKB, which I think he has, he does. What does he replace? Okay, he replaces the Wraith Band.
Have they got a stun to stop Puck?
Dire's top tower is about to be radiant.
He's coming towards the mid lane.
Another thing, right? Until this Blink Dagger on Shaker, Puck can just split push freely with just bots, right? You don't need like a Yules or something to save yourself. And that makes her be able to accelerate her item timing so much quicker, just because you can build these greedy items. And Armel in the bottom lane does seem suspicious.
He doesn't have blink up. But then again, they looked the wrong direction. They looked towards the shrine area.
They knew they broke, so they knew he was around there somewhere, but just so happens that he had just walked past.
Sims just needs to nail this wave, and he'll have his blink dagger available. Yeah, pretty much nails it. Missed one creep, but it's still the cash he needs. Aster, ready to contest for the fucking march, has to tether himself away, goes up towards Gabby. Puck, drawn forward. He's not close enough to get the Dream Coil off. So an earn charge will be burnt for this. I don't get really anything back from it. So Armel straight down to pushing the bottom lane, looking to take out that tower. It's the one that TNC always want to push for. Make sure that Radiant cannot control this bottom. Now they've lost their tier 1 tower in the safe lane. This should be the easiest of the outposts for TNC to claim.
Yeah, that strong move that Aster made to bottom the 4-man smoke is pretty much the only way they're ever going to get that outpost back. It's very natural for Dire to play bottom. And they would just take that as a... This is set up by their smoke gang to take that bottom if they end up getting this. It's very fascinating. The coolest part about this is really only possible because Chuan got Vampire Fangs to sustain through this route. So that's kind of sad, I think, that...
Io also just relocated to the top lane. Like, they're trying to pass the field and push back this top wave, but...
They are unaware.
Yeah, it feels totally unaware. They 3-man smoked up from TNC, but they're not finding their targets. Roshan's at 1700, 1400. Now they're coming over. ES, he has to blink if he just went for that. He'll be able to get in and find the kill, but it won't happen fast. FFF, who's shutting himself forward, gets the double silence. Dream Call triggers over on Tim to begin with. Temper Assassin waits it out. Tim looking for his own blink in, but now the Nova is down. All TNC want to do is back up to safety the tier 2 tower. They're able to do so, but Doom being burnt for Dream Coil and Supernova.
Very strange BKB by SF. Really, the only reason you BKB is because of Shaker, and he was coiled, so that was quite a strange choice to run in there BKB. You don't have like other disables to worry about.
This kind of like waste the next minute and a bit now while you wait for your abilities to come back off cooldown.
Yeah.
And I don't know if TNC are really that scared for the moment, because now they've got that counter initiation. They're getting survivability with a full pipe finished on KP. So these things are starting to arrive. The mech is still taking time for March, but it's on the way.
Yeah, it's so awkward, right? I don't know how many items they have to build in order to win team fights. I don't know if they can win team fights ever, so the pipe's kind of interesting to me. You want to be more survivable, you want to help your team fights, but I think the abilities of Aster are just so much better in a 5-on-5 setting. And this Tiny, so innately tanky. Yeah, the thing is that he's this carry Tiny that's been countered by Doom Razor, but what I like about Aster's draft is the draft.
They're gonna jump in, blink, Echo Slam, that's freshly level 2. Armel will be there to help out. Doombringer making his own play, but they need more control. Slowing down the Tiny with the TA trash, but now Puck goes for his own 2-man Dream Coil, looking for his attack. Doom actually being revealed underneath that sentry board. They're gonna get feared away for the moment, so TNC begin the run unwillingly. Tim tries to create space, but only hits the BK beat up SF, so no control factor from this. He's away in the trees for one more second and blink away in the trees. They hit the game. They're hitting everywhere else. Finally, the orb from XSS is able to connect. So TNC, they were trying to get off the mark. They're still at 0 kills in this 22-minute game.
Just though, so they're like a half.
They break it. Okay, we'll give him a half point.
It doesn't show up there because it rounds down for whatever reason, but yeah, I will say that the thing about the Tiny that I like here is that if you look at their draft, the Tiny has been pretty hard counter. That's why I was nervous about them making a carry. But it's not his job to really deal damage in these team fights. He's kind of just a meat shield for the long duration of this game. And it's going to take them a long time to bring him down. And they have so much damage from the overall SF Puck Phoenix combo that if he's getting everything focused on him, I think they'll still win team fights. So TNC is going to have to be really careful about dumping just enough abilities to make Tiny not impactful, but not doing too much to Tiny.
We're smoking up Aster. They did raise the mid wave. So TNC, you can see Armel playing very defensive, but Razor, however, is not. Gabby feels very exposed. KP is nearby, but oh my god. Gabby, he's going to BKB. Back to the tier 2 tower. That's now a 9-second duration BKB. But luckily, because it's a long duration BKB, he'll be able to get all the way back to the tier 3 towers.
Dream Coil is only a 65-second cooldown. You have no problem committing that just to force out a BKB. I really like the 4-staff from Puck for his Tiny against the static range, against the dude, against fissure blocks. It's just super useful in this game against the lineup that TNC has to be able to disengage from their initial ability volley of stuff. Very good itemization from the offlaner there. I like the 4-staff.
That was a good push timing from Aster. They take the tier 2 tower while Epicenter was on cooldown for 5 more seconds. Second it happens, they back up, back to controlling the lanes. Maybe they find a pick-off over on a hero. But it feels like Aster are just getting more out of this map.
He has one of those bugged cosmetics on Tiny.
Yeah,
like spacing out. It's kind of trippy.
It's like, you know, it's, what is it? Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like I came from the Underverse.
That definitely is the vibe I'm getting from this cosmetic. He can't use the full new Tiny set though because it's part of his tree, so it does cramp a little bit of the style. But I guess overall he does look kind of cool.
Oh, quick blink away, Armel. Tiny initiated and he threw the Dream Coil out, and SF was ready to go along with him. But Armel, the second he saw the puck, he just double tapped his blink dagger and got away.
Look at how rich this Phoenix is, man. He's almost like full Shivas on top of the Midas urn. He's gonna scale so well.
Here comes TNC. 5-man smoke. Looking for a target. Let's see if it is actually gonna be the Phoenix. He's the closest one back behind the tier 1 tower, but someone needs to reveal him. The Shadow Blade on KP that's trying to do the work, but no one's revealing, so TA. They get the fortification now at the tier 1 tower. Right on top of Phoenix, right on top of the end. There 2 huge cores going down. Buyback available for the Phoenix, and then Doom onto Tunny. Buyback will be expended, but it may be a little bit too late. They've already lost an extra 1. SCCT will fall too. Double kills for Armel and Gabby. They're looking for the puck. And Exodus is able to blink away to safety, but that is what TNC's been waiting for. That's what I've been waiting for from Tim's.
Yep.
To actually be that playmaker.
You said that going into the series that he needs to be able to make plays, most notably on whatever hero he's playing. That was all their kills for the entire game. They had 4 kills. The Phoenix fought back, obviously, so that's the 4th kill that we saw there. TNC turning a 0 into 4 kills and 2 towers. That's a pretty big turnaround. I think they were down by 4,000 or so going into that fight, and
they
smoke initiation.
It was 5.5k. It was 6,000 on the experience, and they're basically going to repair that entire deficit. Because now they'll go up, they'll grab the 25-minute bounty runes as well.
That's crazy.
Well,
the telescope, such a good item. Especially when you have TA Razor cores. That's actually such a good item this game. Holy moly. Oh, and it even increases the length of your static link. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's sick 2-man initiation from Tim.
It was the 2 heroes they wanted as well.
Exactly, you have the counter initiation Phoenix and the core damage dealer on the SF.
Man, that's momentum of items for TNC. Like we saw TNC being denied like these 15-minute, these 25-minute fights in the last series, and you saw them struggle. Like there was just no momentum to this lineup. Like we say they got outplayed during a lot of fights just because it never felt like they ever got the jump. They never had the advantage going into most of these
fights. They never
fights.
had like a clear scripted way that they could jump the opponent. That was the problem, I think, in those other drafts. But now with the Shaker, if they catch the right heroes like you saw there, suddenly the Tiny can just have they can afford to just throw everything on the Tiny, and then the Tiny's useless too. That's kind of the nature of their lineup, is if they get 1 or 2 pickoffs right at the start, they just have so many heroes that remove 1 hero from the fight that suddenly if they're 5-on-3, it's really just it's over from there. There's no chance for Aster to win the team fight. Their whole team fight is like a cohesive unit of spells thrown out, and if they lose 1 or 2 pieces of that puzzle, Aster's team fight's pretty useless. But yeah, that telescope, I just want to highlight that this game specifically is super good. It gives you the longer range on your static link. They have 2 ranged cores that deal out damage with their attack range from the telescope. Really big pickup.
My God. Armel right now can't decide what items to hold on to. He's got the Titan Slither, he's got the Imp Claw, as well as having, he's now passed it on. He had the Paladin Sword as well, so that's going to go to the Razor.
Paladin Sword, one of the best items for carries for sure. It's just so good. Lifesteal damage, health amplification. It goes with the S and Y. I don't know what the math is. He's got like 50% lifesteal from like the bonus on the Paladin Sword as well as the bonus on S and Y. So he's sitting pretty in terms of sustain from the IO. So if they don't burst him down, he will live with his BKB. They don't really have damage through BKB on the side of Aster other than just SL right clicks.
There's your Dream Claw working. They try to force staff out Tim, so it'll be an instant snap, but he'll just stay there and burn instead. But with that reveal on bottom lane, TNC will have the pressure and take the tier 1 tower on top of Tiny. TPing over. It looks like they want to try and fight now they brought down the ES. But it's very apprehensive. SEC TPs in and then just walks backwards.
I was kind of surprised that TNC was still confident to fight there with Shaker on the sidelines, but they feel like they're strong right now, and they are not afraid of running into their team fight on the side of Aster. It's kind of surprising to me, but
it feels good because they got so many BKBs.
Yeah,
like it feels like they got so much immunity. Or even, like, if we want to count resistance as well on the Templar Assassin. And she's going into a Butterfly as her next item.
The Puck is also building an axe, coming up in 1,000 gold. So against these BKBs, that's kind of the timing for Aster to maybe capitalize on. But I think if they can place it so that the coil targets aren't able to hit the egg, but they're in stun duration of the, or stun range of the egg, that's going to be pretty crucial for Aster.
We're looking to Tiny. Tiny using the Shadow Blade, able to get the Doom off. Ogre is nearby, able to get the stun onto the Razor. He didn't BKB for this. That's why the Static Link has already been taken off. He's all 100 damage. It doesn't look like TNC's fight whatsoever until Armel, ready for his own jump in from the side. He's waiting for the right target, but they don't have the information. They may have to wait also a little longer for Tim's.
Invis, Tim's. Oh,
yeah,
no.
but he planted Observer and Sentry and broke his own Invis.
Maybe worth? Not entirely sure.
Smoke from Aster. 5 men together. Roshan's up, but the TA traps inside the pit. So Aster can't take this without revealing it. Quick dire scan. That Observer ward on the hill still there from Aster. Sees Gabby moving into the tree lines. They rotate around the side. The smoke's not breaking. KP as well as Marta just far enough away. Now the Observer will be planted. A quick double silence. That toss can do up towards the air. They have enough damage for both of these heroes to bring them down. And Gabby just got to get the hell out of here.
Whoever gets the jump seems to just annihilate the other team. Both teams have plenty of follow-up damage, very heavy burst damage. And if you get caught with your pants down, you are paying the price this game.
Hey, you got caught out, sure. But TNC took, what, 3 of those bounty runes of the 4?
Yeah, they're still up by 3K.
Roshan. And it's a smoke movement coming from TNC. This is the Hallelujah play from Tim's. For a Soul Crest ready to go. 2 heroes in there. Tim's, wait for it. Now, jump in for the Echo Slam. Roshan's down low. The BKBs come in. They're still not back alive with the rest of TNC, but Roshan killed by the Dire. What is that? Does the Aegis the Immortal? TNC just want to get the hell out of here. They do break the Aegis, but March is relocated his way to the front lines now underneath this Dire Shrine. It's the only one left, but they're going to try and do this fight. KP needs to move off at the moment. Maybe with a Sunray, NCT's getting a little bit more life back, but they're trying to get more of the fear. They're all being run away. Requiem of Souls making it difficult for TNC just to stand on the lines and deliver. With Iron, he's already back to the front line. Headed himself over. NCT, Chuan, who the hell are they actually going to damage? Finally rolling towards NCT. That's just isolated. And Armel will get a double kill out of this. It felt like Aster had the advantage, but then they went underneath the TNC shrine, and the TNC just TPing in supports.
I'm telling you, if the static link on Razor now works like Gyro Axe, where if you're disabled and you're static linking somebody, you're still attacking them. So with this satanic Paladin Sword S&Y amplifying it, if he is not killed before he links you on Razor, you are not killing this guy. He was sitting at less than 50% health for that like entire time. He's been sustaining through it. They dump so much damage into this guy, and he does not die. Really smart play by TNC to take that fight, despite the fact that they had 2 heroes down on the sidelines to start it.
And they just forced the issue. There's no buyback to the starting of the SF. KP and Gabby will tank it. Another quick jump in from the Puck, but it won't matter. The creep wave is here. They'll only be able to take the mid lane of Rax. Tier 2 tower still up on the side lanes. But you're pretty okay with this if you're TNC. TNC, considering you killed Roshan, you didn't get the Aegis, but you won the fight directly after.
Yeah.
And what did it really cost you? Like, it didn't even cost you a buyback.
Yeah, nobody bought back. They just waited for the respawns. They were coming up in like 5 seconds or so after Tim's did the initiation. And yeah, the long fights are starting to favor TNC. I'm seeing that if they survive through this coil egg combo, they just win. That's how I look at it. They just win the long fights.
And now they remove shrines, they remove the tier 2 tower up on top.
Shrines, plural? There's only one shrine.
Yeah, shrines. Yeah, I can't say plural anymore, right?
Yeah.
There.
Let's see. I mean,
There's your axe for the park. So maybe now they actually have something, Aster, where TNC can't just easily disengage.
I was hesitant in the draft, and I thought it was kind of cool how they picked all this damage around the Tiny, but the Tiny carry was just, oh, they're looking to fight.
He's ready to go again. Echo slam from the rear is what he wants. Able to catch out too. It's the SF as well as the puck. He keeps finding these two big cores. And TNC, they will push. They can just go for a GG right now. These Aster cores do not have buyback at Marvel. They'll take the top lane of Frax instead just to be a little bit safer. They don't know about these buybacks. It's not like they were committed before. It's just money that's not there.
Yeah, the point I was making is that this Tiny wasn't meant to really deal out damage, but it's just showing that that hero feels really underwhelming against Razor specifically. He just sucks your damage and you spend the entire time running as a hero that's kind of like a mana. And underwhelming, like, you just can't really do anything about it as a carry Tiny. So kind of surprised that they first picked it, got range with it, and left it as a carry. Not a huge fan of that coming out from Aster. TNC kind of showing us their style. They're looking to make one last stand here. So,
I don't know if they really can. Like, there's still that 20-second window. Without the puck, it doesn't feel like they've got anywhere near enough combination. But they have to do something. Expanding from range. Now Razor comes in closer. Only still 42 damage, but Armel's finishing the job. He's attacking the Ancient. You put the supernova in the back. Finds Over will buy back. Still 5 seconds until the puck. Armel just wants to end this. And end this right now. Maybe with a double stun. Puck is back up. SF is going to arrive as well, but it's already done. TNC take out the Ancient. And they take out game 1. And my God, they need a good start in this series. Because it has not been a good day for them so far.
yeah, this is reminiscent of old TNC from previous patch where they're kind of just losing the whole game. They were down 0-7, I think, in kills, down 4K.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
That was like